Okay, great. Thanks very much, everyone, for joining us for this post-match press conference following New Zealand versus Pakistan. Kane Williamson, New Zealand captain, joins us. We'll take some questions from the room before welcoming questions from Zoom. So can I see a show of hands, please?
Just a bad luck. And after winning the toss and selecting for bat, does it make the difference to you? Otherwise, you could have been gone other way also.
I don't think that was the difference. I think the conditions sort of remained pretty consistent throughout. I think the cricket that was played was probably the difference, and credit to Pakistan, they were too good today, and we weren't quite at our best. I thought we fought hard, and to be honest, we're probably a little bit disappointed, with the way that we operated. Pakistan got off to a great chase, great start, got momentum, but we certainly wanted to make them work a little bit harder for those runs. But, at the end of the day, throughout the journey in this tournament, there's been a lot of good, but just frustrating not to put out a better performance today.
So, Kane, how does it feel to always be the bridesmaid? You're always very competitive, you always punch above your weight, and you can't seem to get the wedding ring on the finger in the end.
Yeah, to me it's about the game, the performance, and that's certainly what we look at, and that's the frustrating thing for me today. If you get beaten playing your best cricket, then you certainly have to accept that. Today was a little bit disappointing. There were some good bits. We thought we had a defendable total if we were to be on our game, and the margins are small in this format, and Pakistan were outstanding with the bat, and certainly chased that down with ease.
Just a bit more on conditions, Kane. Do you think Pakistan's power play was a fair reflection of the pitch, or yours was, or was it actually somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, I think they had an exceptional power play. I mean, they, to get to the last over and, give or take a few little moments in the one before that, we've seen funny things happen, and to still almost be in the game, but not be in that whole second half sort of means that, you look at a few small margins and it can flip on its head a bit. So I don't think it was a great flowing surface, but they got off to an amazing start, played really well, and certainly deserved their win.
The scores were quite similar at various stages in your innings to that game against Sri Lanka when Glenn then played that spectacular innings. Did it feel that you just couldn't quite get that final kick today? That obviously Glenn's innings was spectacular, but you couldn't quite go that extra yard in your innings today?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose 5 or 10 maybe, and you play finals cricket, and you have to navigate a few things and scrap away, and we saw that today, and Darryl played an exceptional knock, and at the halfway stage, certainly in the camp, we knew we had something to defend there, and guys were pretty pumped to go out and take on that challenge. We knew we had to operate well, and we weren't quite on top of our game, and Pakistan played beautifully, and that's not a great recipe when you're on the wrong side of it, and you have to accept that.
Kane, obviously it's kind of like what Mal was saying, a few white ball finals that you guys have gotten to the crunch stage and haven't quite been able to do it, but with a few older guys in the squad now getting towards the end of the career, was there a real sense of you guys wanting to achieve something this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, we want to achieve something every tournament. Once again, you sort of narrow down, what you look at, and the performance is certainly what we always try and look at. And I mean, guys get older, and so does everybody, I suppose, and that's the nature of sport. Yeah, I guess we've had so many events so sort of close together in the last few years, so they've come thick and fast, and now I think it regimes as prior to the the interruption that we had in the last couple of years. So there's a bit of time. We've got another one next year, I think, and then it sort of resumes as per.
Okay, and I just wondered about bowling plans in the power play. Against England, you turned to Mitchell Santner for a couple of overs against the right-handers and had a bit of success. But when Babar and Rizwan were going along quite nicely in the power play, it wasn't until the 7th over that you turned to the spinners. I just wondered what the idea behind that was.
Yeah, that was sort of just something we did. there was a little bit there for the spinners, and we knew that they could be a big part in pulling the game back. And as a bowling unit, we wanted to be nice and straight and top of the stumps, much like the Pakistan bowlers who do it so well and are so natural at that. And they put us under pressure, and when you get put under pressure, that makes it a little bit more difficult. But we still felt, outside the power play, even though they got off to a great start, that the game can swing quickly. So we just wanted to stay in it, but we weren't able to get those breakthroughs and change that momentum.
Scott, and then come over this side of the room.
Kane, I know the question's about the lack of trophies are blunt, but does it hurt more each time? Does this one hurt more than last time and the time before because of how close you continually are? And does the fire burn brighter when you enter each tournament after that next time around? So I guess going into next year's one-day World Cup as a result?
To be honest, being in a leadership role with the team, you're always looking at the performance. And, I think we've played in a number of different finals and put out really good performances, probably good enough to win, and either got met by a side that's played a little bit better or a side that's played about equal, however it looks. And you accept, some of those things. And so the frustrating part of this today is that we weren't quite on top of our game. And, we fought hard and we showed some good characteristics that are important to our team and the attitudes we want to see. But it wasn't to be. That's the frustrating part to me. The picture's big. You play a number of tournaments. Yep, you want to win some, but you finish a tournament, you certainly just start focusing on the next one. And to me, it comes down to the cricket, and that's where we put our focus. The environment, how are we tracking? And there's been a lot of good stuff. The journey was good, a lot of good cricket, but as we know, you've got to continue that as you go into the business end, and today was certainly frustrating.
Hi, Kane. Where do you think you lose the momentum?
I think in most games you ebb and flow a little bit. And Pakistan got off to a good start and put us under pressure, and then we were able to sort of wrestle back a little bit of momentum and build a couple of partnerships, and then sort of fight our way to a score that we thought on that surface we could make a little bit difficult. And the hopes were high, and we weren't quite at our best, in all areas, I suppose. And Pakistan played beautifully well and deserved their win.
Kane, what specifically can you take from this tournament? You talk about performances and some good cricket being played. What specifically do you take from this into the summer?
It keeps rolling on, and we've got games pretty quickly after this. These experiences are fantastic. Obviously you want to keep being on the right side of results, but having said that, there's a number of younger players, older players that have been in and involved these sorts of tournaments. And so, everybody takes a little bit, individually. Then as a team, when you get put in these sorts of positions again, you sort of can reflect back and try and do it a little bit better. But there'll be some reflection. It's still raw. Obviously, just walked off the park, and you got to use these sorts of lessons to get better as a side and as an individual.
I think we've got a last question here. Maybe 2 more. Yes, go ahead, Albert.
Kane, before this match, you guys have been a very successful team batting first in this tournament. Why did that change tonight? Was it the conditions or the Pakistanis, or did you just not play well enough?
I suppose you always want to play really, really well, and there were some good bits, and I think playing in tournament sport, you always got to adapt to conditions quickly, and I thought after getting put under pressure, we sort of summed up what we thought could be competitive on that wicket, and I do believe that was defendable if we were outstanding with that second half, and we weren't quite at our best, and Pakistan were outstanding, and like I mentioned, that's not an ideal recipe to win, and so that's frustrating, but that's cricket as well. You always ebb and flow in an innings. You're always trying to navigate where you need to be as a team and what sort of overs you can try and target to give yourself a good chance, and in a semi-final on a surface like that, we thought we were very much in the game at the halfway stage. So frustrating, we wanted to put out a better performance all round, and it wasn't to be tonight.
Kane, lots of people are looking at how much cricket you're playing these days and in all the formats. Will you continue playing in all the formats for New Zealand going forward?
I certainly love playing in all the formats. There's a lot of cricket, and so that needs to be managed a little bit. It's a changing landscape with players all around the world at the moment, and we've seen it in our camp as well. So, after these sorts of events, you sort of sit down and give yourself a chance to reflect and sort of look at what's coming up.
Okay, I think that wraps us up. Thanks very much for your time, Kate.